Hey, Shalom. Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. And Shalom to the sincere brethren that's pushing this truth. Uh, yeah, so what kind of, encouraged me to put this, little lesson together was a conversation that I was having with one of my coworkers and, family members as well. And he was just kind of going into a situation, and one thing, that kind of stood out to what he was saying, and what it marked was the curses, and how today you understand who's who in the grand scheme of things, to understand who are the chosen people of the Most High. um, there would be a curse, that would be put upon them, pursuant to Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. And you want to know what? Let's get that, because I wanted to get this Haggai first, but let's just get that Deuteronomy. Salakia. Uh, right. So basically, in the Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, um, we a pact was made, a contract was made, a covenant was made, and some of those stipulations of that contract were here in the 28th chapter. Now, I'll just get it. This Deuteronomy 21, it says, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power." If it should come to pass, if thou shalt hearken, which means to listen diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all of his commandments, you know, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So this is by us following the instructions that the Most High gave to us, the what would be, given to us, the prize, so to speak, I guess, for lack of a better word, would be, what he just said. He says, I command this day that Yahweh that power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So that means, we would be, we would be on high, everybody would be below us, as, the rightful heirs, but of course. But when you skip down to the 15th verse, and it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou will not listen, hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all of his commandments and the statute which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come unto thee and overtake thee. So the one I wanted to harp on was, let me find it, Salakia. That's a good one. Right, so I'm gonna read 29. I still want another. It says, "And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be utterly oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee." So when I was the conversation that I was having with one of my coworkers, and just him explaining to me what, type of situation that he's in, and for at one point, he's saving up some money. He's putting a little money away aside, and everything's going one way. You know, but then all of a sudden something hits, and all of that's gone. Um, Yep, 48 says, "Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee." So all of this stuff took place. I mean, well, just looking back, probably about about 400, 500 years ago. Um, from the that yoke on the neck was that iron yoke upon her neck was actually literal, and spiritual at the same time, and even up to this current day, to this hour, to this minute, to this second, all of this stuff is still going on, spiritually and physically. And we definitely have to go to our enemies for want of all things, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness. Everything that we wear, everything that we eat, everything that we drink, is we have to go to our enemies. But back in let's get that in Haggai, just to make the point, just to harp on the point of you know the conversation I have is Haggai 1:6. It says, "Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes." And what was so spiritual is I said the exact same thing. I said, what you feel like is you feel like you putting your money into a bag that got holes in it. And the tone of his voice was just kind of like, yeah, like that's exactly what it is. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, listen, man, like the scriptures have all your answers. You know, the scriptures have all the answers of why you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are in the state that you are in. You know, you are in the state that you are in for a reason. Things don't happen. There's no such thing as a coincidence for anything, for the events that take place. There's no such thing as a coincidence. You know, there is reason. You transgress the laws of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and there was a consequence for that. You know, there's a consequence for that. There's a consequences for the actions that you have that you did and are doing. You know, for every action there's a reaction. It's you reap what you sow. It's as simple as that. You know, but the beautiful part about it is with these prophecies coming to pass, um, by the prophecies coming to pass, uh, 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 um, all of these things are coming to an end. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. With our Lord Yahweh Shai, going up on that cross and you know, basically being that unblemished sacrifice, to shed the blood for the nation of Israel, you know. So being that mediator to get back to the Father for Israel, you know, he actually came and lived the perfect life in the flesh, in the sinful flesh, conquered the flesh, and died for us, you know. So it's only fitting that it's only one way to get out of here, and that's ultimately to put in the work, turn away from what's been killing us, what's been literally killing us, you know. the farther we step away from, Yahweh Shem Shai, the more dead we are. I mean, that's the more the farther we walk away from the light, the more submerged in the darkness we shall be. You know. So in order to, I guess the point I really want to convey, you know, in order to get out of the conditions and the circumstances that you are in, is there's only one way, there's only one path, for the nation of Israel. There's only one path. It's only one path to get there, you know. But when things have been written, there's a predestined, there's a destiny for everybody, and not every well, there's a time and a place for everything, and not everybody's destiny is as far as time frame. They're not going to get it, on this in a certain time frame. I say that, you know. But the overall point was, the stuff that is the prophecies, the oracles of the Most High, all of these things that are written, they're not written for no reason, man. Like this is the answers, like all of the answers, right here, you know. So that's pretty much the point, So with that, all praises to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the elect.